Hey folks, you won't believe what happened to me recently. So, I own this 40-acre ranch out in the countryside. A little slice of heaven I bought a few years back. It's got rolling hills, a creek that runs through the back, and this beautiful old barn that's my pride and joy. I mean, picture a classic red barn, weathered but sturdy, sitting in a clearing with wildflowers all around. I bought this land fair and square, had a full survey done, checked every property line twice, you name it. That barn, it's 100% mine, no question. So, one sunny Saturday, I decided to spend the day fixing up the barn. I've got big plans to turn it into a workshop, maybe a little hangout spot. Just me, my toolbox, some cold drinks in a cooler, and my dog Rusty curled up in the shade. I'm ready to unplug, get my hands dirty, and enjoy my property. I drive through my private gate, park my truck by the barn, and start hauling out lumber to patch up some loose boards. I've got my music playing low. The birds are chirping. It's just perfect. I'm maybe 2 hours into measuring and hammering when, out of nowhere, this pickup truck rolls up my dirt road. This guy hops out, wearing a baseball cap and a shirt with Neighborhood Watch stitched on it. He's got this clipboard, looking all official, and he's walking toward me like he owns the place. I'm thinking, who's this guy? He stops about 10 feet away, squints at me, and goes, "Excuse me, sir. You can't be working on this barn. This structure is on community land. It's designated for neighborhood use." I literally chuckled, thinking he's pulling my leg. I mean, come on. I've got the deed, the survey, the whole 9 yards. I say, "Buddy, I think you've got the wrong place. This barn's on my property. I own it." He shakes his head, flips through his clipboard, and says, "No, sir. This barn is part of the community green space. It's listed as a shared asset for the neighborhood association. You're not allowed to modify it." I'm stunned. Shared asset, my barn, the one I've been paying taxes on for years. I walk over to my truck, grab my folder from the glove box. Yep, I keep all my paperwork handy, just in case, and pull out the survey and deed. I spread them out on the tailgate and say, "Look right here. This map shows my property lines, the barns, dead center on my land. Your community green space is way over there, past that fence line." This guy, he doesn't even glance at the papers. He just crosses his arms and says, "I don't care what your papers say. The neighborhood association voted last year to include this barn in our community plan. You're in violation, and I'm calling the authorities." I'm like, "Go for it, man. I'll be right here." So he pulls out his phone, makes a big show of dialing, and starts pacing around like he's some kind of sheriff. I just lean against my truck, sip my drink, and pet Rusty, who's now looking at this guy like he's lost his mind. About 30 minutes later, a county sheriff's SUV pulls up. This deputy steps out, real calm, hat tipped back, and says, "Afternoon, folks. What's the issue here?" The neighborhood watch guy launches into this whole speech about how I'm vandalizing the community barn, breaking association rules, and causing a disturbance. I let him talk. Then I hand the deputy my paperwork. I point to the barn, the survey, the deed, and say, "This is my land. This is my barn. I've got every right to be here." The deputy takes his time, walks around the barn, checks the survey against his GPS app, and even paces out the property line. He's thorough. I'll give him that. After about 10 minutes, he comes back, hands me my papers, and says, "Sir, you're absolutely in the clear. This barn is well within your property boundaries." Then he turns to the neighborhood watch guy and says, "You need to update your records. You're standing on this man's land right now." The guy's jaw drops. He starts stammering, but the association said. The deputy cuts him off, real polite but firm, and says, "The association doesn't get to rewrite property lines. You might want to take this up with them." I'm trying not to grin too hard as the guy climbs back into his truck, still muttering, and drives off. Now, you'd think that'd be the end of it, right? No. The next weekend, I'm back at the barn, this time painting the exterior. I've got my ladder set up, a can of red paint, and I'm making good progress. Rusty's chasing butterflies, and I'm in the zone. Then I hear another vehicle. I look up, and it's a different guy, but he's got the same neighborhood watch vibe khakis, clipboard, the works. This one's older, maybe in his 60s, and he's got this air of authority, like he's the whole president or something. He walks up and says, "Sir, we've had reports of unauthorized construction on this barn. You need to cease immediately. I'm thinking, here we go. Again. I go through the same routine, show him the deed, the survey, explain the property lines. He's not as aggressive as the first guy, but he's stubborn. He says, our association has plans to turn this barn into a community event space. We've got grants lined up. You can't just claim it. I'm floored. Grants, event space, on my land. I say, look, I don't know what your association's been telling you, but this barn's mine. I've got the paperwork, and the sheriff already confirmed it last week. He insists on calling the sheriff again, so I just shrug and say, fine, let's do this. Same deputy shows up, recognizes me, and gives me a little nod like, you. Again, I hand over the paperwork, and he doesn't even need to check it this time. He just says, sir, I told your friend last week this is his property. You folks need to stop bothering him. The older guy starts arguing, saying something about community interests and eminent domain, but the deputy shuts it down. Eminent domain's not your call, and it's not happening here. This is private property. The guy leaves, red-faced, and I'm left shaking my head. But it doesn't stop there. A couple of weeks later, I get a letter in the mail from the neighborhood association. It's this official-looking thing, complete with a logo and a list of board members. The letter claims that my barn is encroaching on their designated green space, and that I need to attend a hearing to discuss relinquishing it for community use. I'm starting to think these people are either clueless or deliberately trying to pull something. I call up my lawyer, a buddy from college, who specializes in property law. He laughs when I tell him the story and says, this is classic overreach. They've got no leg to stand on. He drafts a polite but firm letter back, attaching copies of my deed, survey, and a note from the sheriff's department confirming my ownership. He also includes a line about potential legal action. If they keep harassing me, I mail it off, certified, and figure that'll be the end of it. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. A month later, I'm out at the barn again, this time installing new windows. I've got the place looking sharp, and I'm starting to see my workshop vision come to life. Then, I get a visit from a woman who introduces herself as the neighborhood association's treasurer. She's nicer than the others, almost apologetic, but she's still got that clipboard. She says, we're prepared to offer you compensation to lease the barn for community events. It's a win-win. I'm polite, but firm. I say, ma'am, I appreciate the offer, but this barn's not for lease. It's mine, and I'm using it. She tries to sweet-talk me, talking about community spirit and how the kids in the neighborhood would love a place to hold events. I'm not heartless, but I'm also not running a charity for an association that's been trying to strong-arm me. I show her the paperwork, same as before, and suggest she talk to her board about respecting property lines. She leaves, looking disappointed, but I'm not budging at this point. I'm starting to wonder if I've got a target on my back. I decide to do some digging. I go to a neighborhood association meeting. I crash the little gathering at the community center. It's a small crowd, maybe 20 people, and they're all surprised to see me. I introduce myself, explain that I'm the guy who owns the barn they keep trying to claim, and lay out the facts, my deed, my survey, the sheriff's confirmation. I even brought copies to pass around. Most of the folks are reasonable, nodding along, but a couple of board members get defensive. One guy, who I'm guessing is the ringleader, starts talking about how the association assumed the barn was on public land because it's so close to their green space. I point out that close doesn't mean yours, and the room gets quiet. My lawyer's letter must have made an impact because they don't push back too hard. By the end of the meeting, they agree to update their maps and stop bothering me, but just when I think it's over, I get one more visitor. This time, it's a kid, maybe 16, riding up on a bike. He's got no clipboard, no official shirt, just a nervous smile. He says, "Hey, are you the guy who owns the barn?" I nod, bracing for another round, but he surprises me. He says, "I just wanted to say sorry. My dad's on the association board, and he's been stressing about this barn thing. I think they got it wrong." I laugh, tell him it's all good, and offer him a soda from my cooler. We chat for a bit, and he tells me the association thought they could claim the barn because it looked abandoned. Before I started fixing it up, I explain that I've been maintaining it all along, just not living on the property full-time. He nods, says he'll tell his dad to chill, and rides off. Since then, things have quieted down. The barn's looking better than ever, new paint, new windows, and I've even got a workbench set up inside, Rusty loves hanging out there, and I've started inviting friends over for barbecues by the barn. It's become my sanctuary, a place where I can work with my hands and enjoy the land I fought to keep. Looking back, I'm glad I stood my ground. It wasn't just about the barn, it was about what's mine, what I worked for, and not letting anyone bully me into giving it up. So, next time you're out enjoying your own little piece of the world, keep an eye out for those clipboard wielding neighbors, and maybe keep your paperwork handy just in case.